So you keep losing on chimps mode and you have to restart from round 6. Or if you have a really cool idea for a strategy and you're not sure if it'll go the distance, or you just watched a tutorial on how to beat a specific map and you want to make sure it works before you dive into round 98 and lose and have to start all over. Well, today I'm going to show you one of the best features in BTD6 that I use frequently, and you guys should as well. We're going to click there, and then we're going to click create, and we're going to click edit challenge. And to show how useful of a tool this can be, we're going to do it on one of the hardest maps, one of my least favorite maps in the entire game, Flooded Valley. If you want to create a specific game mode or recreate a video that you watched on a tutorial, you want all of these to be default, and you want to make sure all of these are at 100%. As far as chimps mode goes, it doesn't matter if you have powers, selling, monkey knowledge, or continues. None of that will be applied in chimps mode. Now, in my head, I have a really cool strategy that I think will work quite well, but I'm not willing or able to dive into a regular chimps mode just to lose on round 15, 17, 35, 98. I want to make sure that it works here first so I can apply it to a regular game. Now, there's a main reason why this is so beautiful for just testing out strategies. This little green button retry last round. Now, normally, if you just tried this on a regular chimps mode, you'd hit round 14, you lost, now you have to restart from the beginning, and that's just can be a big bummer, especially when you get to those later rounds. Well, on this one, you can just say, okay, well, I have $1,600. So what that means is I made it all the way to this point without needing to upgrade anything. So now I know that when I go to regular chimps, or if I ever were to redo this, that I can place Pat instantly. But as you can see there, it's still not enough, but we have $1,400. So I just want to place my hero first so we can start gaining those levels. But I know that I want to use a boat later on because the boat's going to be a great tower for this map. So I'm going to place a boat too. Now I want to place him right next to my Pat because I want him to get that buff later on. And I know that this should be able to handle, at least, well, it should be able to handle, right? Now, basically, you just repeat this process over and over and over. And some may think, well, that's going to be more time consuming if you're going to keep losing just like that. But what's cool about it is it's really not. You just kind of go through it quickly and make the best logical judgments that you would in a normal chimps game, but without the scariness of getting wrecked and having to just start from scratch again. So I keep dying on 22. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that guy upgraded. I'm going to grab my advanced intel and then, oh, well, that time it worked. And that's just the crazy thing about BTD6. It's called RNG. It literally makes me lose sleep at night, and that's what you got to do. So for this one, what we're going to do is we're going to submerge support right there because we know that we lost to that. We'll uncamo it, and then we'll put this guy back to normal. So for those of you using this to test out a strategy that you saw on YouTube, it's a very, very good thing because you can just go through exactly what that YouTuber tells you. And if it works, it works. You can just go for it on the real game, but you never know. It could be an RNG based strategy. It could be nerfed like a few of mine have been due to the new sniper nerf. And for those of you using this to create strategies, why it's really, really cool is that you can give it a run a few different times. So we learned that we needed to buy Pat and the boat. So now next time you're going to start off with Pat a little sooner. He'll have more levels already built up, and you can just keep reworking that over and over and over. Now I go a little to the extremes, and sometimes it can take me days, if not weeks, to make a strategy because I want it to be perfect, which is why you have not seen a Flooded Valley chimp strategy yet in this new year or last year, because I am not satisfied with the outcome that I've been getting. So basically I'll sit here and rework it until it's just beautiful. Now here's one of the make or breaks of your strategy is going to be round 40. And as you can see, we have $4,100 saved up, but that's not going to be enough to do it. So what I'm going to do for this one, and what I like to do when I'm creating strategies or just trying things out, is I want to see if I can get by with just my ability. If I can do that, then I don't have to buy anything and I can keep on saving that money. Now with this map in particular, it's very, 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 very heavily RNG based. And just depending on if Pat knocks back the balloon or not, you will lose on 52 at that section. Well, I've done this about 3 or 4 times now because I can click that little replay button, which is the beauty of this whole thing. And Pat sometimes knocks it back, sometimes doesn't knock it back. So going forward, what I'm going to do, as soon as I see that bottom one, I'm going to use my ability because again, I would like to save up my money as much as I can and not spend a dime of it because I know that on round 60, we're going to have a huge tough time with the towers that we have here beating that BFB. I'm going to try changing Pat to strong and see if he'll knock that thing back, which he did. Okay, cool. And I'm hoping that we can just take this one out on our own because I've noticed on Flooded Valley, it's the even maps or the even rounds is where you're going to have your problems. So I'm going to have him knock back that first Moab and then I'm going to use the ability after just like this. And then we should be able to clean everything up. Now I am a little worried for 55 because I know that we can't take that final 4th form of ceramics. And here we go here. We're probably not going to be able to beat this. I would assume not. Oh, this time we are. Okay. So it's really just going to be dependent on the RNG, which is why this strategy has not made it out to the public into a chimps flooded valley strategy, just because it's always going to be a little bit random. And the use of challenge editor allows me to change up my stuff. So let's say at the end of 56, I'm like, okay, maybe that's not the way I wanted to go about this. I can click home really quick and then click continue. So like on 55 is going to be random. Right before we beat it, we can try it again and try it again and try it again, just to make sure that we're good to go. Now I got that flagship before 57. Now we should be good to go for the rest of this. We've made it to the second most difficult round that takes a lot of work on, is going to be round 63, and those ceramics are just too much for us as it is here. And after some cool amounts of trial and error, I have found something that will most likely work here. And then what we can also do is start upgrading that even further, just so we don't have any problems at all. And I think we're in range enough that our tack shooter is in range of Pat to get that cool buff. But even if he's not, we could just get the helicopter plane boat buffed, and that would be okay right there. Now, in my opinion, this is like the worst and scariest part of this whole thing, is trying to figure out what you should do next. So on 77, I'm having a little bit of a struggle. Now we can kind of forcefully go through with these abilities, or we can upgrade, let's say, the alchemist, or buy another tower completely to help us out. But you never know if that's going to be the right play. Well, in that case, we just won just because of basic RNG, which is kind of cool. So we're using some pretty bad towers for this map, and that's why we get so much of this randomness, is because the planes on the boat go wherever they feel like it. So when you retry the last round, they're going to be in different spots. And then Pat, depending on the day of the week, hits back the Moabs, or he doesn't hit back the Moabs, and you're never really gonna know. So we're just throwing in too much randomness into this strategy. But for instance, now we can finally upgrade to here. But let's say we didn't have enough, like on 77, I thought for sure we were kind of in a spot where we're going to have to do something. If you use your ability on 77, you might not be able to get through 78 because that huge rush. But if you upgrade to the alchemist to get past 77, well, now you're not going to have enough money to get to the tack shooter in time. And that's where I hope in the future that challenge editor kind of grows and evolves, and Ninja Kiwi adds more to it, so you can actually like retry the last few rounds, if that makes sense. Because if you make a detrimental upgrade, like upgrade to alchemist, and now you do not have enough money for that next round that causes you problems, you just have to restart the whole thing, which is just as bad as restarting on 98 in chimps mode regular. But now we're past that difficult mid round. We have $50,000 saved up, and these guys are going pretty well. These ZOMGs on 92 are going to take us out. I know that for a fact, and we could probably just get through them with the first ability, because Pat with the tack shooter and the boat first ability is just going to be kind of madness crazy. Actually, okay, that time on 92 we did just fine. Those planes on those boats, guys, it's just you never know what you're gonna get. I lost to 92 a couple times, but this time is different. So I am going to spend some money here. It's just kind of like, now it's scary because like, what do you spend it on? This is what I was talking about earlier. So I am going to go with the snowstorm and a larger radius, which is actually pretty scary. And the reason why we're going to do that is because if we have enough money at the end, I kind of want to make some crazy plays here. But what I do want to do for sure right now, which could be a bad play, guys, but I'm going to do it. We're going to go for the bottom path here, Icicle Impale, with this one here. Now, the question is, are those subs enough with the middle path spinning super slow to detect those DDTs and make the camo go away? We will see. They are. Okay, they are. They really are. And the Icicle Impale is beautiful like always. So now we just got to get more damage done, because that tack is going to give out on us eventually, and the boat planes are just random. Look at 95 go. I love 95. Even when you lose, it's still really cool to watch the Icicle Impale just freeze everything there and go for it. I love it a lot. I think what we could also do is go with a MIB, or a more daring strategy to use the ability when it looks like it's going to be a little bit overwhelming, which you never really know when that's going to be, but I'm going to go for it and use that first ability, and we should be able to take everything out. I think it's more the fortified Moabs that are causing us problems than DDTs. I think that's what's going on. But honestly, naturally with the MIB, I think we'll be able to take this out. I think that was the main hang up there, is that our alchemist wasn't powering through the tack shooter enough. And then look at there you go. So we did have to waste quite a bit of money to get to that MIB, but now we know we're good to go on that. We have our Icicle Impale to slow everything down. The main thing we're going to have to worry about now is that bad, and round 98, but that bad we cannot pop with an Icicle Impale, so we're gonna have to get some kind of like first strike or something, which lies the next trouble of using challenge editor. Let's say that you need a first strike, right? But you don't buy it on 99. It's not gonna be up in time for 100, and you're gonna have a problem. Or let's say that you know for 100% fact that you're gonna going to need a sabotage, it's not going to be up in time for 98 or let's say 95. You just lost there too. So you kind of have to preemptively know what you're going to need. Did you guys see that up there, that balloon up there? That was just a little intense and a little close for us. This is kind of one of those ones that I would retry just like this. Perfect example, because you're like, okay, that was pretty RNG. Let's see if that happens again. And there you have it. It did happen again. This time actually took us out. So if you're turning this into a strategy or trying to recreate this for the regular chimps mode, you're going to have to do something a little different here. So what we're going to do is we're going to bear hug that first ZOMG, and that should be enough to take it out because we'll be able to take out all these ones pretty quickly, hopefully. Yes, we are. There we go. And now this will be no problem. So if your main goal isn't just to create a strategy or to copy a strategy you saw on YouTube, what you can take from this is the little bits and knowledges that you're going to learn just playing it like this, because you're going to say, what made that happen? Why did that happen? How can I change it? What can I do to fix it? And you'll find out just so many cool things, especially if you have a big old bankroll, like $20,000 left on 98. It was pretty good. And that's what makes this a lot of fun. So we know on 98 that we're not gonna be able to hang with that right there. So what we're gonna have to do is we are gonna have to use an ability, but now the question is when do you use an ability and how do you make it replicatable? Is that the right word? To do it multiple times. Do you wait till the Moabs start overwhelming? Do you wait till you get a ZOMG in both of their ranges? Because right now you're like, okay, it's just the bottom ZOMGs. But then you're like, okay, do I just hit it and go for it and then hit play because there's nothing else I can do? And that will work sometimes, but then you go try to recreate that and then it doesn't work. So you have to find a happy medium of what works and what doesn't work to make this kind of go. Now it is 99. I do need to turn this one off and restart this round because as I mentioned earlier, I'm not going to have enough for that first strike or enough time for it to regen in time. And that's where it just gets a little scary. So let's place this guy here, go all the way up to there. And I'm actually going to go for 2 if I can. I'm pretty sure the Icicle Impale can stop all these with the MIB tack shooter on his own. Oh my gosh, they're so strong. I know we just lost one up there, but these guys are so strong together. I love it. So what we're going to do is we're going to change it up just a little bit, make it a little easier for ourselves. After he freezes everybody, just like, I thought I was so cool with that one. Okay, so after he freezes everybody, just like he did before, what we're going to do is we're going to hit the actual freezy button, which is why I went with that snowstorm, is for little things like this. When you just need things to slow down a little bit, it's still not enough. Oh my God, I'm going to kick some butts here. This thing's doing us dirty, but I think with the sniper on strong, we should be able to handle this, right? What's actually getting through? I can't see. It's too fast for me, even on slow mode. It looks like that top DDT. Yeah, that top DDT is breaking open. We're getting a ceramic there. So we're gonna actually put this guy in first this time. And this is the process, guys. This is how you do it over and over and over until you figure it out. But then guess what? That's never gonna happen to you again because you're gonna be used to it times 1,000 at that point. I'm gonna switch him to camo too. That I've never actually used that, and it's actually kind of cool because now he's only gonna focus on those, hopefully, and it should be enough. Is it enough? It is enough this time. So that did definitely work. Putting him on first with the camo option was really cool. And I'm actually gonna use the first strike first because I don't like the whole timing thing. You can practice the timing, but it's very hard to replicate practicing the timing in Challenge Editor. You're either one or you're done. If you pop it open, you can try it again, but if you just break it and you win, you win. So we're just gonna go with this, and then as soon as it kind of breaks down to that last little layer, we're gonna use that first ability on our cool little tack. It's gonna wreck everything through just like that. And then we're gonna freeze everything because why not? And that is the game. Now the question is, can we do this again? Probably not. So at this point in the game, what I would do is I would go through it all one more time and just remember what I did or write it down and just try to get through it as best as I can. And you're also gonna wanna take a quick screenshot of what you just saw there so you don't forget what you did. And if you wanna see me attempt to beat this one challenge in 5 different ways, check out this video here.